How did you come to make the film Bodhisattva?
How did I come to make the film? I'd had a very close connection with the previous Karmapa, who was one of the great realized enlightened masters of the 20th century, and had made a film about him called The Lion's Roar. And I'd felt a very close connection with the 17th Karmapa. I'm also, frankly, a card-carrying member of the Kagyu lineage, the Karmapa's lineage. And I'd seen him a few times after he'd come out into exile in 2000 and done some filming with him. And I found him incredibly compelling. Punlap Rinpoche, who was the principal organizer of the tour, asked me to make a film of the tour, which I started off by doing some filming with him in India at his present residence in Dharamsala. Then the filming actually happened quite on the spur of the moment because we didn't get word that his visa had been approved until shortly before he arrived in New York, and then events kind of took care of themselves. I showed up in New York and followed him all the way through the tour for about 17, 18 days, I think.
So the full title of the movie is Bodhisattva, The Journey of the 17th Gyawa Karmapa. What does the journey part refer to?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Karmapa, 17th Karmapa, has had a very compelling journey. He spent the first years of his life as a nomad boy in calm eastern Tibet before he was recognized as the Karmapa. And then, as he says in the film, his life changed forever. In the words of William Wordsworth, shades of the prison house begin to close upon the growing boy. He was enthroned at Serpu, and his life changed forever at that point that he became Karmapa. He was known as Apogaga, happy child, and now he had to be Karmapa. Then the second part of his journey was when he was, I think, 14. He had to escape incredibly bravely over the Himalayas from Tibet to India. Because of political pressure that was being put on him by the Chinese government, and mostly importantly because he needed to connect with his own teachers in the Kagyu lineage. So that was the second part of his journey. Then there was the journey of him coming to America, which was fascinating to me because you might say that Karmapa has led a fairly sheltered life in some ways. And now he found himself in America encountering the West, and that became quite a journey for him because his function originally as Karmapa, you might say, was to preserve the heritage of the Kagyu lineage of which he is the head. He's also a young man who wants to explore the world and go beyond that. And so what I think the film, or I tried to capture in the film, was his journey of encountering the West, encountering new minds, encountering new ideas, and opening up to a whole other reality. And that's what we tried to capture in the film. So I find his journey very, very compelling.
What was the most surprising thing that you learned about the Karmapa while shooting the film?
I think a lot, and the most amazing thing was I don't have a close personal relationship with Karmapa. I've got to know him over the years, but as an observer. But watching him arrive in New York overnight from Delhi with a very, very full schedule, with loads of media attention, different Dharma groups sponsoring him, all kinds of different levels of security. And the first thing that struck me was how incredibly at ease he was, and how he had this capacity to put everybody at ease around him. I think it was the second day that he had to give 4 talks in front of 3,000 people at a time in a big auditorium in New York, and his total sense of command and relaxation in that environment. I found that amazing. And then as he continued on this incredibly hectic schedule on the tour, he seemed to be enjoying himself. It seemed to be invigorating him. And he was always totally present in every moment. So I don't know if that was surprising. He is, after all, Karmapa, but it was extraordinary to witness. And it was kind of rock and roll in a way. There was a lot of pressure on the tour and traveling and everything like that. But he was just so at ease through the whole thing. And I think he really had a good time.
What would you like people to know before watching Bodhisattva, and what would you hope for them to take away afterwards?
Well, I think very simply, what they need to know, hopefully, is contained within the film itself. But what I think it captures a certain moment in time. It goes into his background with archival footage of him. A moment of time of this extraordinary young being of infinite promise. And that's all I'd like people to experience, is to have a fairly direct experience through the film of this wonderful young being who actually holds a great hope.
Thanks, Dad. You can go back to being behind the camera now.
Okay, good.